How's it going, Mitch?
Awesome, man. Good to have you on here. So, everybody, this is Ramtin. So, he's one of our clients. He's been a client for us for a while, I think like a couple of years now. And
Like
now,
3 years now.
yeah, now you joined our board mastermind, so our higher level one. And so, yeah, man, just wanted to get Ramtin on here because he's doing some really cool stuff in terms of, generating leads. So, we can talk about that in terms of, scaling outbound. So, he's done that. And then just, I know somebody had questions about shrinking the sales process because I know some of the stuff that we did. Again, we don't want to go into like specifics of like how you the mechanics of it, but the more strategy behind it, um, in terms of shortening the sales process. Because before, how long did it take you to close a client?
I mean, previously it used to be 3 to 4 weeks typically. Now we've shrunk it to about 4 to 5 days on average. I mean, there are at times people that are not ready, and which is fine, right?
Okay.
And it happens from time to time, but we've really shrunk it down and really optimized it using your processes.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. So we'll dive into that, how to shrink the sales process, and then yeah, just kind of dive into that. So I guess Rantham, bro, like tell everybody, I guess, kind of where you were at. Um, I guess when we first started working together, what was the main challenge? I know you were originally, you had the consulting business, scaling the agency. Talk about kind of your journey. What has your journey been with the business? Like, tell what's the journey?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So I started a marketing agency back in 2016, 17 with my business partner. And back then we're basically generalists. We're dealing with real estate agents, chiropractors, car dealerships. We're dealing with literally anyone and everyone that needed help. And the problem was that our focus was everywhere, right? And we're not really dominating. And what happened is I got a financial advisor as a referral, and then they referred me another person, and those guys referred me another person. And naturally, that just kind of became the niche. Like we never really chose it; it just kind of happened, right? And the reason was we got them really, really good results, and naturally, they just kept referring people to us. So 2018, Scale Advisor was born, and that's when we were, focused solely on advisors. And then I had came across you in the Consulting Accelerator program, the video you had done with Sam, and that really resonated with me. I watched it actually a lot, and I remember I hit you up a couple times for help, and you're very kind to actually help me out. And at one point, I'm just like, man, I just got to join. So I just messaged you. I'm like, how much? Sent you the money, and we started working. I never did a call with you or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great process. So back then, we're doing everything manually. We got a lot
Mm.
of SOPs. So everything just changed. Like as soon as we started working with you, everything changed. We had a lot of great processes in place. And most recently, we decided to join the board because, at a certain point in time, you have a proof of concept. You have consistency at a small scale. But if you want to go past the six figures, 100,000 or more a month, right, which is what we recently reached, you need you need different processes. What works at a smaller scale, when you're doing, say, 30 to 50,000 a month, is not going to work or satisfy you when you're trying to reach that $100,000 a month or more in revenue. So you need to have different processes. So that's really the main reason why we decided to pull the trigger and join the board.
Yeah, man. And so I guess at that level, because I know you guys, you had already some good processes from what we had taught you obviously in terms of getting appointments through LinkedIn, through outbound. You hired some VAs, stuff like that. What was that kind of point where you were kind of like stuck in a sense of like, okay, how do we get to the 100K a month mark? How do we really scale? Because I think you guys are on the 100K a month run rate, where you hit 100K within the past like month or so. I don't know what kind of where you
Yeah,
guys are. I know you're doing like 80K or something.
a little
Um,
over 100 now.
okay, awesome, cool, awesome, man. And so now with that, what was the core, I guess, problem you're facing at that like 20, 30, 50K a month level that like kind of held you there for a while? Because I know you were there for like a couple months, maybe even almost a
So,
year.
so I would say it's solving fulfillment, really having a better product. At the end of the day, we ended up working with you. We fixed a lot of the stuff on the back end, right? A lot of the processes.
Mm.
So we became a lot more efficient. We fixed the product, right? And in turn, we actually get a lot of referrals because we have a lot of happy clients. And
Hmm.
those guys are the best marketing tool, right? Your happy clients are your
Hmm.
best marketing tool because it doesn't cost anything. And referrals are, if you have somebody raving about you, it's a really easy client, right?
Hmm.
And you want to have a lot of fans. So really we fix the product, right? And in turn, everything that's happening is a consequence of fixing the product and providing better service and having better, more efficient systems in place, basically.
Mm. Yeah, and I know you guys were doing mainly done for you, and then at the last event you had like a mix. You had done for you clients, and
Yeah.
then you also had the done with you clients where you would help them set it up, and then they would kind of run it, and you would help them like onboard and like making sure that they're producing results. So I guess that has that unlocked a lot more scale because now you can just get a client in, they consistently get the process. I guess talk a little bit about that in terms of the back end systems because that's how what Glenn was talking about, like running a company with like 3 people to get to 100K a month. If you have it running efficiently, you can do that, right? But with you, I know you have some outbound and stuff like that. Talk about the back end process because that's going to really help people unlock scale in terms
Yeah.
of the back end, fulfillment.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we used to, it used to be done for you. Now it's a hybrid. It's like a done with you slash done for you. We still do a lot of one-on-ones with our clients because that gets them the really good results, right?
Mhm.
And that makes them super happy. But what we also do, we used to utilize a lot of VAs, and we're weaning away from that, right? We're completely everyone's in-house now. So currently we're a team of 7, and few of us are in the office as well. And having people that, you know, are in person actually, for us, I found works better, right?
Mhm.
And you kind of have a pulse on the business. That's been the biggest differentiator. But yeah, going from done for you to done with you, a hybrid has been an absolute killer.
Mm. And then, so what does your team consist of now? So I know you have your business partner Jay. Who are the other team components?
So yeah, it's me, Jay. We have an account manager now. We have about 3 to 4 appointment setters as well, and another account manager as well.
An account manager is like client success, or are they a closer?
Uh, they're basically client success, onboarding, helping the client set everything up, like checking in on them just to make sure that, hey, are they generating leads? If they are they having appointments? And if they're having
Mhm.
appointments, are they closing clients, right? So like
Mhm.
really checking in on them. At some point, clients might get annoyed a little bit, but that's what they like, right? They like that the fact that we actually truly care for them and
Mhm.
we actually care for them as if it's our own business. And that's produced a lot more clients through referrals.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, dude. And one thing that I want to talk about is kind of high level in terms of how you optimize your sales process. Because I know that was a big thing that you guys were. I mean, it was going well. Like you're closing clients. You're doing 50K a month. You had the process, but then you were telling me like the problem is like they spend like 3-4 weeks or like they want to get started in a month or whatever. And so let's talk about that. What did you do there? Because I guess I told you to shift more towards the model and like the sales process that we run in which we train our clients on. But I guess tell us about that. Like what does the sales process look like now, or what it was and what is it now at a high level?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So first and foremost, so at any point in time in any market, really only 3% of the people that you're talking to are in the market for your services, right? So a lot of people think that just getting anyone on a call is a good idea. I think that you need to make sure that they're actually interested and need your help, right? So that itself will remove a lot of the objections because if they truly
Mm-hmm.
need what you do and you can actually deliver on that, right? It's a no-brainer for them. Okay. And number two, we don't do so. We used to go in a lot of depth within the demos and whatnot. We're doing mostly Zooms now, so it's in person, and it's really changed the process for us. And also,
Clarify that for a sec. So you used to do more of the demo. So you just get
yeah,
them on a demo and you'd go screen share and then just share their screen and just kind of show them the product. And they probably get feature brain looking at all this stuff, right? Because you go into like details of like the exact processes and stuff like that. But I guess now you just do face to face, right?
correct. And if they like additional help with it, or they're curious to see, hey, how does the X, Y, and Z work? Yeah, by all means, we'll share our screen and show them exactly what the process looks like. And another thing is having a good VSL, right? Having a VSL that really resonates with your prospect so that when they watch it or look through it, they say, hey, that is me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is always be collecting case studies. And also, you want your prospects to basically consume your content prior to getting on the call with you. That way they know what you do, how you do it. So just by the time they get on the phone with you, they know exactly what you do. And it kind of removes a lot of it's just straight to the point. So I would say making sure that they consume your content, that is very important.
What kind
Prior
of
to that,
content? What kind of content do they
just your
consume?
VSL, case studies, some articles that you have, and you could even create a Facebook group, right? And give free value. So we have a free Facebook group, right? We have about a couple hundred members in there. We post content and we ask some of our that are getting on the call to join that group, right? That way, once they're in that group, they consume some of our content, they get acquainted with it, and they understand more about what we do, how we do it, so on and so forth.
Mhm. Awesome. So they consume. So you do like maybe a discovery call, right? And then, or your appointment setter do a discovery call, set them onto a strategy call. In between, they'll send them some content, right? Case studies, the VSL. Then on that call, so instead of doing just a straight demo, sharing the screen, you did more of like this consultative approach, right? Which I call the transformational selling, going into like diagnosing, then prescribing the solution. And then from there, if they need, you'll do like a second call or like a third call demo, and then close them on the demo, right? If they need, but you'll optimize for those like one call closes on the strategy call, right?
Yeah, ideally. I mean, some people do need more time
Yeah,
than
of
that,
course.
right? And yeah, basically that's how we do it, and that's been working pretty well ever since we switched it.
Awesome, man. And so you hit 100K a month without paid advertising, right?
Zero paid ads, none.
Zero paid ads.
Well,
Okay.
that's a lie. We do have some retargeting ads, but it's very minimal budgets. It's been running forever, but not actual paid ads.
Yeah. So it's all organic. So I guess like talk a little bit about the high level of the operation that you're running there. Like what do you guys do at a high level for that?
For the clients.
Generating appointments, not for yourself.
So we utilize multiple different channels. So cold calling, cold emailing, LinkedIn. We do some organic strategies on Facebook as well. But what I found is everything works, Mitch. Like cold calling works,
Yeah, yeah.
emailing works, LinkedIn works. It's where you put your focus to, right? So
100%.
and make it as efficient as possible, as humanly possible. Try to use automation as much as possible. And if you don't like cold calling, get an appointment setter to do it for you, right? And try to whatever you don't like doing, whatever it doesn't really move the boat forward, just delegate. Delegation has been huge for us. But yeah, back to your question, we use a lot of organic ways. So cold calling, cold emailing, and LinkedIn, and some organic strategies on Facebook. And we get a ton of referrals too. So that's been crazy for us.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And yeah, I guess, man, tell me, because I know some people like they're either a client of ours already in as a client, or some of the people that maybe they're not a client yet. What was the biggest transformational thing I think since joining our mastermind? Like what do you think helped you the most?
What helped most is really the in-person touch, right? The approach that
Mhm.
when we first joined, I sat down with you initially and we opened the hood, literally went through everything from A to Z, spent a lot of time together. And right then and there, you actually told us, hey, just stop with the VAs, go with more appointment setters. That itself, like right away, that really changed everything for us.
Mhm.
And then changing the call process, that was huge as well. And then the next call was with Glenn, and Glenn is a wizard when it comes to the
Yeah.
spreadsheets and everything.
Mhm.
We lacked a lot with tracking and really having processes in place, because having clear tracking is the most difficult thing. And when let's say if you're by yourself, you just maybe yourself and a business partner or just yourself, it's really easy to track that, right? If you have one LinkedIn profile, some
Yeah.
cold emails, some cold calls, easier to track that. But when you're making 1,000 phone calls a day and you have like 10, 12 profiles and you're sending 400 cold emails, it's very difficult to know what source the leads are coming from, when they're buying, how they're buying, who we're helping, so on and so forth. So really having processes in place to track that. And also the cash management was pretty huge for us. We're still working at it with Glenn. So all these different things and really setting up those small Zapier automations, right? In the event when you guys helped us set it up, it really helped a lot of the things like having the outbound wins with the every time somebody books an appointment,
Mhm.
it creates a really good positive feedback loop. And
Mhm.
now all the appointment setters are sort of like they have this friendly competition to one up each
Mhm.
other, and it creates a really good environment.
Yeah. That's what Glenn was talking about earlier, right? With the I don't know if you're on here, but he was talking about how to create competition. What Ramtin's referring to is creating those zaps where anytime an outbound person, like a SDR or appointment center, they go and they book a call, it gives this feedback because they see it in Slack, boom, like a notification. It gives them this like dopamine hit in their brain where they now get like fired up to then see that in Slack where someone closes, they see the closes and the sales coming flowing into the channel, and that also breeds competition, and it breeds like this positive feedback loop where they're going to want to book more and more calls. And they see like, for example, one of our guys will book like 4 calls, and then the other guy doesn't have a call yet today, so he's going to like try and like one up him, and then you can kind of create that like friendly competition within even the Slack channel, right? So it's pretty cool how that works. But cool, man. So I guess in the event, obviously getting that hands-on approach and like working with you one-on-one has kind of worked things out. Is there anything else that I guess was a major kind of pillar in terms of getting you to that 100K a month now?
Yeah, really just, sitting down and masterminding and going through the processes. It's all a collective of small, really small tweaks, and all of a sudden they add up and it's this one big thing, right? Um, that's really what happens when you look at everything, you look at the efficiencies. But yeah, just really the hands-on approach when you guys literally, I give you my laptop and Glenn, and you guys help me set everything up. And that was crazy for me, honestly.
Yeah, because there's a lot of I'm in a masterminds, right? I pay a lot of money for masterminds. You probably see a bunch of masterminds or even just like other programs out there. And one of the biggest things that I found is like early on, I wanted just someone to not even just like I want someone to tell me what to do that works, and that I can just go and do the thing that works, and then I can innovate, right? But then also further than that, it's like, okay, I know conceptually what to do, but how do I actually do it? Right. And so I think that component where, someone can sit down like side by side or like control your actual screen in your computer and like map things out. I think that's super
Absolutely.
powerful, man. Yeah.
100%.
Awesome, dude. Anything else you want to share with people? Or if you guys have any questions for Ramtin, pop them in the chat. But yeah, Ramtin, he's in our mastermind, so he's not on our sales team. I wish he was. But yeah, he targets financial advisors. But if you have any other questions for Ramtin, or you want to share anything else, man?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, for me, really is if you guys are thinking about the board, right? If you're currently an elite and you're doing, say, 10 to 20, $30,000 a month, and really you want to get to that 100,000 or more a month in revenue, you definitely do want to check out the board. Really, the difference is the hands-on approach. And like I mentioned, when you do decide to scale, and as you should be, things start to break, right? What works at a 10 to $30,000 a month mark, it's not going to work. It's not going to be serving you at 100,000 or more. You need different systems and different processes in place to actually help you get to that, right? Now we're doing over 100,000 a month now, but if you want to get to say 250, 300,000 a month, what we're doing right now is not going to work either. So that's when we have to resort to YouTube ads and a variety of different things to help us get there. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to get more consistency, have more referrals come to you, and have a better product, and just really fix everything up, I would definitely recommend at least having the conversation with Mitch, because at the very least, you'll have a better understanding of what your next steps are.
Yeah, absolutely, man, for sure. And there was one question here, Ramtin. What was the most uncomfortable, difficult part of getting to your current revenue level? Getting to 100K a month.
Uncomfortable. It actually wasn't that hard. That's the thing. Yeah, it was just like not doing certain things, right? Like changing the processes, such as getting more appointment setters that are in-house or they're local, right? That really helped shift it, but it wasn't actually that difficult. Like to what I thought it was going to be, it wasn't difficult, to be quite honest with you. I think it was harder to go from like say 2 to 10,000. That was way harder than going from say 30 to 100,000, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I said that yesterday too. I'm like, running a 100K a month business is a lot simpler and less stressful than running a 10K a month business.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because once you do have the capital, what happens is you can allocate it and hire people. That way your time frees up and you can actually work on the business, on the processes, rather than doing the mundane tasks that are not going to push the needle forward. And at the end of the day, you want to work on the product as much as possible, right? So we're upgrading our product and making it better. And in turn, we get more case studies, we get more referrals, and that also helps us grow the business, right? On
Mhm.
average, we get, 3 or 4 referrals a month, right? And those are like the absolute best calls to get on.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Cool, man. Well, I think there's some other questions here. I guess he's saying, Steven was asking, like, how is it easier to run at 100K a month? It's because you have, I mean, Brampton, you could say this as well, is like,
You have a team now,
you have
right?
a team,
People,
yeah. Exactly. You have a team where now, like, you have, and especially the way you structure the processes, right? They're almost like self-sufficient in and of itself, right? Where like your appointment setters, they know what they need to do to generate appointments every day. There's no like ambiguity there, and they have
and they only
KPIs.
do that one thing, right? So they're
Yeah,
only appointment setting.
specialists.
But like,
Yeah,
let's say if you're setting up appointments, doing the demo or the strategy session, you're also like running the LinkedIn's, you're doing the emails, like, and serving the clients all at once, right? You're doing a little of everything, right? So it's really hard to move the needle forward. So as much as you possibly can, if you want to scale, try to outsource things that you don't like and only work on things that you're really, really good at. And for me, it's just more the process and the product. And my partner focuses mostly on the sales portion, lead generation, those kind of processes. And for me, also another thing I should add. Initially, I had started by myself, and then later on, like when I was a generalist, I brought on my partner, and we're both generalists at the time, right? But having a partner actually helped a lot of things because we started doing more revenue right away. And two brainers is typically more than one, but you need to
mm-hmm.
have the right person in place that can help you, just like yourself, you, Glenn, and Jeff, right? You guys have that good team as well. Each one of you guys is focused on one thing, and that's how you guys can go at a rapid pace.
Yeah, I would say like having a business partner, especially for me, is one of the biggest things because I love sales, marketing, sales team leading. I love like self development. I love like systems as well and building. But Glenn, as you guys can see, he's like operations, financials, like he's a wizard at all those other things, automations. So I was able to then focus on what I'm good at, and then Glenn was able to focus on what he's good at, and then Jeff, he was originally a salesperson for us, but then he came to me and was like, man, I actually like working with the clients once we get them in. So then I just moved him because he was appointment setter originally and then sales rep. And then I told him, okay, man, well, we'll put you on client success and like helping the clients. And then we put him there and he just shined there. So he loves helping the clients. And then you're able to then have specialists in each phases. And since Jeff was helping the clients with, getting appointments and scaling all that stuff, and he already had experience, he also trains the SDR because he was an SDR himself, right? So that's why you really can scale. And you have like, I find that if you have those specialist positions and they're only focused on that core thing, you'll go much, much further. Really appreciate it, man. And yeah, you're gonna want to get you to like 250K a month, 500K a month
Awesome.
next.
Well, thank
Cool,
you for
brother.
having me. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn or Facebook. And yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Awesome. Cool, brother.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Bye
See you,
bye.
brother.